The Cold War by Abby Cates.
And Autumn Athay.
The Cold War wasn't necessarily about having a war between countries. It was more about enemies and having conflict with all the other countries. Nobody necessarily died in this war because they didn't really count it as a war.
The people that were involved in the Cold War. It is between the United States and the Soviet Union. Soldiers of the Soviet Union and the United States did not battle directly during the Cold War.
The Iron Curtain symbolized the ideological conflict and physical boundary dividing Europe into two separate areas from the end of World War II in 1945 until the end of the Cold War in 1991.
The policy was a response to the series of moves by the Soviet Union to enlarge communist influence in Eastern Europe, China, Korea, Africa, and Vietnam.
November 6, 1946, the creation of the iron. June 24, 1948, the Berlin Airlift. April 6, 1948, the Marshall Plan. November 1, 1955, Vietnam War.
The main events that marked the end of the Cold War were the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991. The Berlin Wall had been the main symbol of the Cold War.
The Cold War lasted about 45 years. There were no direct military companions between the two main antagonists, the United States and the Soviet Union.
America, fear of the communist attack. USSR, fear of America's atomic bomb. USSR, fear of America's attack. USSR, aim of spreading world communism.
The Cold War was a state of political and military tension after World War II between powers in the Western Bloc, the United States, its NATO allies, and others, and powers in the Eastern Bloc, in the Soviet Union.
The Mi-24 Hind is terrifying enough on its own, but without eye-lifted chemical pods, these heavy assault choppers could rapidly crop dust death after a huge battlefield.
By exploiting what's known as ground effect, wherein an aircraft's wings generate extra lift and less drag when flying close to a fixed surface like the ground or the surface of water.
These truck-mount platforms wouldn't simply build in incoming plots like modern handheld lasers. They would melt the fuselage and set the plane on fire.
These submarines became a major weapon system in the Cold War because of their nuclear deterrence capability. They can fire missiles thousands of kilometers from their targets.
The Soviets explored the idea of hunter-killer satellites armed with particle beams, the laser-based weaponry throughout the 1980s. None of the technologies were launched through.
That's all we found on the Cold War. I hope you have learned a little bit more about it, but thank you for watching.